Hey everyone, this is Antoinette, and I want to share a story time this particular video. I want to go back 3 years ago when I was in a hospital for COVID pneumonia, respiratory failure, and I had carbon dioxide in my blood. Almost died. My oxygen was 50 when I arrived at the hospital, and honestly, I was over 450 pounds at the time, maybe, with high blood pressure and asthma and the weight. And doctors said I almost died. But what I really want to bring to life in this story and talk about was this nurse. Let's just call him John. And I have nothing against male nurses. I've had them in the past and I respect them. But this nurse, something about him made me feel very weird. I can't explain it the way he was looking at me. When I woke up from, COVID and being like really afraid, unconscious for 2 days with a breathing tube in my throat. But I wasn't comfortable with him. I can't exactly know why, being my nurse, but I told him that I wasn't really comfortable. And he began to get really mad at me. And because I didn't want him to be my nurse anymore, I can't really explain this, but I'm in a position where I can't even get out of bed hardly. I mean, honestly, urinating on myself, and because I was so down with COVID, I had almost learned to walk again, as embarrassing as that is. And I remember the nurse that was cleaning me while I'm laying there. It's the most embarrassing thing and vulnerable. I'm being here even on this channel talking about it, but I'm laying there, and let's just call him, like I said, John. John, the nurse, is laughing at me, and he's saying, "You fat ASS," and I'm just humiliated. And I remember even now, thinking about it, it makes me really sad because I'm there crying. And then I wanted to basically apologize to him and say, hey, maybe you can be my nurse, and maybe I stepped out of line by saying that I didn't want you to be my nurse. And I accepted him back again. And he said to me, that's right, you should have accepted me back again. I'm the best nurse. And then something in me said, no, he's not the right nurse. I want another nurse. And then he literally rages at me with paper I was writing. Comes over literally and grabs the paper and rips it up in my face. And proceeds to almost put his fist at my head, basically. And it was just really horrible. He had anger problems. And I remember my food, I was eating it, and he took it and literally spit in my food and said, I bet you don't want it now. And they basically, long story short, had to take him out. The security guards came and they literally arrested him and took him out there. I don't know where they took him to, but they took him away. And honestly, I felt bad for what went down and what happened, because all this time I'm thinking that maybe it was my fault and I should have given him maybe more of a chance. But in the position I was in, it was horrible. I wouldn't wish it on anybody having COVID, pneumonia, respiratory failure. I could have died. And just being there, literally imagine being in the bed and being in that vulnerable position where a nurse has to clean you. And I remember the nurse telling me, Antoinette, don't cry, because I'm literally in tears crying. Because, I was so embarrassed. The most embarrassed I've been in my life. Literally, I've never been so embarrassed. And he's like, look at the blood pressure cup. It won't even, fit on your big arm. And literally, so embarrassing. I mean, even being here talking now to the camera, it's still very embarrassing the way I was treated. But I just wanted to spread awareness to anyone who basically maybe ever have gone through this. But but after that happened, the nurse was over him, I don't know her name, but she was there with me the remainder of his shift because she saw how he treated me. And she was saying that in my position, as weak as I was with this deadly disease, honestly, I could have died. Just the thought of him being mean and, being just mean to me, and my heart rate was, I remember like the machine going off as he's laughing at me, and it was so scary at the same time. Like my heart rate was like beating really, really fast as he was being mean to me, and they were trying to get him out of there because it was upsetting me. But I thank God that I made it through, and I had an amazing family that was there the whole time. I was also in the ICU, by the way, during when this was happening, but I had an amazing family that was there for me the whole time, that never gave up on me. And when I get to the main floor of the other, after the ICU rather, I was treated so much better and just so much nicer. And yeah, I just wanted to share that little story time with you guys, and say, if you ever gone through a position like this, someone that was mean to you. I know it's hard because, like I said, I'm there in the hospital and I'm literally laying on the bed, and like I said, a nurse is changing me. Like, I mean, I even had like, honestly, a bedpan because I couldn't get anywhere at the time. Even getting up, I was so dizzy, and you know, I had to learn, honestly, after I had that experience, to walk again, because I couldn't after having COVID and all that stuff in my system. But honestly, guys, it's only made me stronger. And now I believe 450, maybe a little more when I was in the hospital. And right now, I know it's not much, but I'm 254 pounds as of today. And still, there's ways to go. I know. But I made it. And in the hospital, I remember my grandmother, who's now passed away, Rosie Lee Urquhart. This may sound crazy, but she was in the hospital too with me. And I remember at one point almost dying. The doctor said I almost did. And she came through and said, "Baby, it's not your time. You must go back, Nikki," because my name is Antoinette Urquhart. And as she was counting, I remember counting down. I remember like all this noise behind me saying, 3, 2, baby, open your eyes. And I remember opening my eyes. And this may sound crazy too, but my dog Duncan, who's also passed away, I could feel him, you know, licking me and stuff like that, almost like saying, "You're back again." And when I woke up, I remember them saying, "Happy birthday." I know it sounds crazy, but happy birthday, happy birthday. And this is in April, 3 years ago. And my birthday is in March. This might sound crazy, guys, but I believe that you know, it wasn't literally my birthday on paper, but like I was spiritually born again. As bad as this was that have happened to me, but like it feels like I had to go through it to become better, to evolve and grow. And I remember in the hospital, like having this vision that my mom had given me up for adoption, and that's not the case at all. I was never given up for adoption and raised with the most love in the world. But it was me, and I remember at one point, this is embarrassing, I'm going to be honest, having this vision of this little girl. I was being a little girl in the hospital, and she was afraid, the vision I was having. And I kept saying, "You are somebody, you are somebody." And I remember her rising, getting bigger. And it was like, I know this is crazy, but it's like God gave me another chance. Even if, you know, someone doesn't believe in God, something happened in that hospital, honestly, that changed my life for the better. And I can't be the same person anymore. And that's why I said that I was 450, maybe more pounds. Tried losing weight at one point, but I didn't. And the doctor told me that, you know, help me. He said to me at one point, "Antoinette, you're chosen." And this may sound crazy, but I remember complaining in the hospital, and a nurse telling me, "Antoinette, you made it. You were unconscious for 2 days, and your oxygen was 50 when you got here." I remember being in home and literally them having to take me out on a stretcher. I don't remember it, but they had to break my door down. My room was kind of small to get in there, but I was unconscious when I got to the hospital. And I remember just being foggy in my room and not being myself. And then all I know, the next minute, you know, the carbon monoxide, I was kind of like, that's why I was kind of foggy like that. But like, you know, yeah, so I ended up in the hospital, like, you know, just being taken on a stretcher and waking up in the hospital. And yeah, so it was scary waking up and not being able to talk. Imagine not being able to talk. I mean, I remember at one point trying to write something on this paper because I was afraid and stuff like that, but I couldn't write because I was not even aware literally of anything really. I was just completely out of it. So I just wanted to share this story about it. Anyone who's struggled or struggling, and know that you're not alone. I've done it with, like I said, I've talked about my schizoaffective, my PTSD, childhood trauma, depression, seasonal depression problems, my learning disability, and everything that I've gone through. Even having back surgery at 19, honestly. And I'm still here. Not, the perfect life, because I've stopped over and over again with weight loss. And I've had problems where I've, had hallucinations and audio, visual because of my schizoaffective. But it's made me who I am, being bullied and stuff like that. But I'm here for a reason. And I don't want to sound like cocky or conceited, but I feel like God's given me a second chance to help someone. And that's why I started my whole brand, Becoming Antoinette, just to help people. And, honestly, if I can help one person, I know not everyone's going to like me, and that's okay. But if I can just help one person, then it's well worth it. So, comment below if you guys ever gone something like that, and just tell me how you dealt with it. And yeah, so thank you.